An Israeli official says a top cabinet minister's trip to Washington has angered Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Today is Monday, March 4th, 2024, and this is the Dunkley Report. An Israeli official says a top cabinet minister's trip to Washington has angered Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The dispute between Netanyahu and Benny Gantz underscores widening cracks in the wartime government and rifts between Israel and the U.S. as the conflict in Gaza continues. There are disagreements between Netanyahu and President Joe Biden over how to alleviate Palestinian suffering and create a post-war vision for Gaza. Talks aimed at brokering a ceasefire were underway in Egypt, but a government official says Israel didn't send a delegation because Netanyahu has not received an answer from Hamas on key questions. It took 10 years and 3 rounds of in vitro fertilization for Rania Abu Anza to become pregnant, and only seconds for her to lose her 5-month-old twins, a boy and a girl. An Israeli strike hit the home of her extended family in the southern Gaza city of Rafah late Saturday, killing her children, her husband, and 11 other relatives. Surviving relatives say another 9 people are missing under the rubble. Israeli airstrikes have regularly hit crowded family homes since the start of the war, even in Rafah, which Israel declared a safe zone back in October, but is now the next target of its offensive. Haiti's government has declared a state of emergency and nighttime curfew in a bid to regain control of the streets. After an explosion of violence over the weekend saw armed gang members storm the country's 2 biggest prisons. The 72-hour state of emergency went into immediate effect Sunday night, as Haiti's government said it would set out to find the killers, kidnappers, and other violent criminals that it said escaped from the prison. At least 9 people have been killed since Thursday, as gangs step up coordinated attacks in the capital. The violence is taking place as Prime Minister Ariel Henry is abroad trying to salvage support for a United Nations-backed security force for Haiti. One burning issue dominates as the 2024 session of China's legislature gets underway this week: the economy. The annual meeting of the National People's Congress is being closely watched for any signals on what the ruling Communist Party might do to re-energize an economy that is sagging under the weight of expanded government controls and the bursting of a real estate bubble. Proposals to raise the retirement age are also expected to be a hot topic, and China watchers will parse the annual defense budget and the possible introduction of a new foreign minister. But it's the economy that is on most people's minds. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged Western allies to boost his country's air defenses after a Russian drone strike destroyed an apartment block in the southern port city of Odessa and killed at least 11 people. Officials on Sunday said the bodies of a boy and a young woman clutching an infant were pulled from the rubble of the building destroyed Saturday. The Odessa branch of Ukraine's main emergency service says some people might still be trapped in the rubble. Authorities have said falling debris from an Iranian-made drone hit the building. Meanwhile, China's special envoy on Ukraine, is in Moscow for talks. French authorities are searching for an assailant who attacked a man near a synagogue in Paris. Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin said late Saturday the attack on a man on Friday evening was a new anti-Semitic attack. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, the Interior Minister said, authorities are working tirelessly to apprehend the perpetrator of this unspeakable act. A statement from the Paris Public Prosecutor's Office said that an assailant was seen physically and verbally assaulting a 62-year-old man wearing a Jewish skull cap as he was leaving a synagogue in Paris's 20th arrondissement Friday evening. Earlier, Darmanin ordered police prefectures in France to strengthen protections around Jewish schools and places of worship. The United States has begun airdrops of emergency humanitarian assistance into Gaza. President Joe Biden, who announced the operation on Friday, said the U.S. was looking into additional ways to help Palestinians in the Hamas-ruled territory as the Israel-Hamas war goes on. The White House warns that there are few military operations that are more complicated than humanitarian assistance airdrops. Pentagon planners will identify drop locations aiming to balance getting the aid closest to where it's needed without putting those on the ground in harm's way from the drops themselves. Malaysia's government says it may renew the search for MH370 after a U.S. technology firm proposed a fresh search in the southern Indian Ocean where the Malaysia Airlines plane is believed to have crashed. The plane with 239 people aboard vanished a decade ago while en route from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. Transport Minister Anthony Loke said Sunday that Texas-based Ocean Infinity proposed another no-find, no-fee search, expanding from the site where it first looked in 2018. He said he has invited the company to meet him for a briefing on its plan. Ocean Infinity CEO Oliver Plunkett reportedly said the company has worked with many experts in analyzing data to narrow the search area and is ready to return to the search. A vibrant fishing industry, some of the world's largest coral reefs, and desalination plants supplying millions with drinking water. They're all at risk from large amounts of fertilizer and oil spilled into the Red Sea by the sinking of a cargo ship attacked by Yemen's Houthi rebels. Officials on Saturday said the Belize-flagged Rubimar sunk after taking on water in the February 18th attack. The vessel was reportedly carrying 22,000 metric tons of tox fertilizer and had already spilled enough heavy fuel to trigger an 18-mile oil slick through the critical waterway. Experts warn that more environmental damage could occur as the Houthis' targeting of vessel traffic over the Israel-Hamas war continues. A ship attacked by Yemen's Houthi rebels has sunk in the Red Sea after days of taking on water. The Rubimar had been drifting after the attack in February. It marks the first ship sunk by the Houthis in their months-long attacks on shipping in the vital waterway. Yemen's internationally recognized government, as well as a regional military official, confirmed. Saturday, the ship sank. Many ships have already turned away from the route. The sinking could see further detours and higher insurance rates put on vessels plying the waterway, potentially driving up global inflation and affecting aid shipments to the region. Today's news was reported by the Associated Press. This has been the World News for Monday, March 4th, 2024. Thanks again for joining us at The Dunkley Report.